Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Anvesha Garg and this video is solely about the newly announced BTR Bootcamp schedule which is from 18th January to 11th May. So उसके ऊपर कुछ questions and queries हैं that I'm gonna solve from my point of view. Let's start with it. सबसे पहले somebody asked me that we have completed our syllabus from other platform like DAMS. Will it cause the information bias? A straightforward answer is no, it will not cause any information bias because I myself studied everything from the marrow and I also did the BTR, so there is no information bias because content is same everywhere on every platform. BTR is just a revision source. If you feel like that you have already completed the syllabus and are stuck in between 130 140 corrects, you should go with the BTR because there are some things which will be cleared by the BTR and there are some mnemonics that will help you a lot. इसके अलावा there is always an option to skip BTR for some subjects. Like I never studied ENT and opthal from the BTR because I did it very well from the main notes, so it's always on to you. You don't have to do every subject's BTR, so I don't think that there will be any information bias just because your main source was something else, because this is a revision source. So also somebody was asking कि BTR bootcamp में पूरा का पूरा नया workbook मिलेगा, so will not that cause any effect on our previously made notes? So yes, it will if you study everything from the BTR now. So what you have to do is while you are attending the bootcamp, you have to annotate only those things that you don't know. जो आपको already आता है, जो आपको already याद है, वो आपको annotate करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. So what will happen then, in your BTR workbook you will have only those things that you don't know till now, and when you will revise it again and again, you will make sure कि जो आपको पहले नहीं आता था वो अब आपको याद है. So this is the whole story of the information bias. If you feel like that you already know 60% of the stuff, just write the 40% of the stuff in the BTR workbook and not everything, right? Okay. Secondly, the most hot topic right now is the duration of the bootcamp, which is 4 months. Time the bootcamp is literally very long. It's about a 4-month course from January till May, and you will get only 1 week after the end of the BTR bootcamp for the INI preparations. It's pro for some people, it's cons for some people. If I put it for myself, it would be a con. It will be a pro for you if you need the ambience to push you. You can't study well in the house environment. If you need same kind of a people and same kind of a vibe, it's a pro for you because you are getting the whole 4 months to spend in same environment. So second, it's a pro if you can study in a cubicles in a silent environment. For me, it's very bad because I cannot study silently. I need to speak and study. So this time they haven't announced the different packs for with cubicle and without cubicles, so they will give you the cubicle this time. So it's a pro for you if you can study in cubicles. If you want to go back to your room to study, it's not worth it. Third, if budget is not an issue. See, the BTR bootcamp's price is not that much. For the 4-year is just 48,000. I paid 16,000 for 1 month course, and if I just calculate it, 48,000 is not much, but your accommodation fees, your transportation fees, your food fees will make it a little on higher side. So if budget is not an issue for you, it's a pro only. And last is, if you are purely targeting NEET PG, see what happens, you will technically need last 1 month for complete revision on your own because you will know your weak points, right? So if you are purely targeting NEET PG, go ahead with it, no doubt, because NEET PG is not happening before August, maximum by July, but not before that. So if you're purely targeting NEET PG, it's a pro for you. But if you're also targeting INI CET as a main one, you can think a little bit ki yaar online can be better one, right? And so are all the pros for the 4-month duration of the BTR bootcamp. What are the cons of the 4-month duration of the BTR bootcamp? First is, you have seen the BTR videos at least twice. You will not enjoy that much because the BTR bootcamp ka main motive in our time was to maintain the speed, maintain the pressure on the students, because that was only 35 days course in which we had to complete the whole BTR in 35 days. Now you're having 17 weeks to complete 19 subjects, so basically like 1 week for one subject, so it's a lot of time. If you have done BTR at least twice, it's not that great for you because the classes in this bootcamp is less and the break days or the self-study days are more. So if you have already done it, you don't have to go with the offline one, you can go with online one also, so that you can study on your own pace and you can study according to your own weak subjects, right? Second is, again I'm telling the same thing, if you need your own space to study, if you can't study in the cubicles, it's not worth it because 17-week program, your classes is very few days and the rest all is for your self-studies. So if you're not gonna use the cubicles, it's not worth it, right? Third is, if budget is an issue, if you can't afford or if you feel like that it will cost a lot to you, it might be a con. Con is your hometown. Where do you belong? If you belong from a state which is very far away from the Greater Noida, you might feel little homesick, or you might not get the time to go back to home in middle. So that might be a con, plus minus. Next, we have the amount of duration. Basically, what's happened in our bootcamp, we had only 35 days to complete everything, and the pressure on our mind was enough to let us study the whole day. When we were tired, we used to study because we knew आज 5 बजे क्लास खत्म होने के बाद भी कल हमारा टेस्ट है, तो we had to study, right? We had no other option. This is a very easy going kind of a schedule. So if you don't even study 1 to 2 days, it will be okay. But our was so jam packed, we had to study completely 35 days. So because the duration is higher, your pressure will be reduced, and that's one of the biggest cons in this program. And last is if food matters for you. For me, homemade food is the best thing, which helps me keep going. This is a great point. Now people generally ignore the food wala part, but if you are drawn towards the homemade food, if food influences your studies, this might be a con for you, because you might not able to get the homemade food for like 4 months. These were the pros and cons of the BTR bootcamp being so long this time. So आप अच्छे से सोच लो. You still have 1 day to decide and pay the registration fees. Somebody was asking me the approximate costing for the BTR bootcamp for the whole process. So I have made the whole thing here. For the BTR bootcamp, you are gonna pay 48,000, or if you were a previous bootcamp student or offline BTR student, 44K. So not that much difference, but yeah, 4,000. Then you are. So regarding the food, if you are taking the food from the Vidyajeevan campus only, it will cost you around 320 per day, excluding the snacks. I've included only breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that total comes out to be 320 per day. And if you calculate it for the 4 months, it will be around 40,000. And even if you cut on this and try from somewhere else, it will still cost you 200 per day. Third is the accommodation. So if you're going with the normal PGs and hostels with double sharing, it will be around 15,000 per month. So that comes out to be 60,000 for the whole duration. And if you take the single accommodation, it will become double prices. Regarding the transport fees, minimal will be 100 rupees per day. So if we just check it, it will become 12,000. So overall, approximately it will be 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs with the budget, which you have to keep in mind, and that is basic necessities. If you add on to different things, then it will add up to more. The most important question was regarding the self study and the active recall, कि क्या हमें खुद से पढ़ने का और active recall करने का टाइम मिलेगा. So the short answer is yes. बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम मिलेगा आपको active recall करने का. I have pasted मैम का पूरा शेड्यूल है, और मैंने उसी को मैंने कंसाइज करके साइड में लिखा है. Basically, January में you are completing 2 subjects, Obs Gynae and PSM. February में you are completing surgery, medicine and integrated वाला patho pharma physio. March में we are completing the anatomy, biochemistry, microbio, pediatrics and radiology. And April में we are completing all these subjects. That includes ENT, opthal, FMT, psychiatry, dermat, orthopedics and anesthesia. So ये आप कर रहे हो. आपका पूरा का पूरा classes 28 अप्रैल तक फिनिश हो जाएंगी. 1 मई को आपका लास्ट सब्जेक्ट टेस्ट होगा. उसके बाद में आपके 3 GTs होंगे. स्टूडेंट्स आर मोस्टली कंसर्न अबाउट कि ये एक ही रिवीजन साइकिल होगी मैम के थ्रू, तो आप लोग खुद कैसे रिवीजन करोगे. मैम की एक रिवीजन साइकिल है, आप तो 10 भी कर सकते हो. इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील. हाउ विल यू डू इट? आई विल टेल यू. First, so ma'am has given approximately 1 week for every intermediate and the large subject. So it depends on you that how much time are you taking. For example, let's take Obs Gynae. Obs Gynae की classes हैं 19 January and 21 January को. So 19 January को है, आप you will study on 19 January. Whatever you have studied on 19 January, you will revise on the 20th January. Now ma'am will teach on the 21st January. So whatever ma'am has taught on 21st January, you will revise that on the 22nd January. And the exam is on the 24th January. So you still have 23 January. And Obs Gynae is big subject, you will get that much. बस ये है कि you don't have that much pressure to study. You can easily stretch it for 5 days. And even if you feel like I'm very strong in Obs Gynae, so you can just revise something else which you feel like he is weak, right? First time आपको लगेगा, बाकी second duration में तो आपके पास पीछे के बहुत सारे subjects होंगे ना complete करने के लिए. Like PSM में भी देख लो, PSM में भी you have 1 week. PSM के अंदर if you have already done revisions like 15-20 times, you might not need इतना time for PSM. But if you have done only 1 to 2 reads, you will need time, right? You will have to study so many things. Nutrition you have to study, environment you have to study, then we have programs. PSM is a large topic. लेकिन अगर आपको लग रहा है my PSM is very strong, so you can study something which is not that strong, right? आप कुछ और questions भी कर सकते हो. So you still have time. You can revise this 2-3 cycles you can do within this schedule. For long subjects you might take 1 week, but you don't need 6 days to complete the microbiology if you are already perfect in it. You just need 2 days or hardly 1 day you need in the microbiology. So what you have to do is revise the subjects which have already covered. Surgery, medicine, gynae, PSM सबसे पहले कवर हो जाएंगे, तो उनको तो तुम्हें रिवाइज करते ही रहना है. माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में nobody takes 6 days, anatomy में nobody takes 6 days. So in these times you have to revise the previous subjects and solve their custom modules and their PYQs. So that's how you can do the revision cycles. It's not difficult, it's easy and you can do your self studies. The only thing is, अगर आपके लिए ambience matter करता है और अगर आपको लगता है कि आपको push BTR bootcamp में जाने से मिलेगा, you can go with it. It's not like आपका active recall छूट जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, because you have at least 5 days for yourself and you have to attend class only for 1 day, right? So that's how it's gonna work. Some people were also asking कि how we take our last revision for INI-CET. So see, the whole May is free. 3 GTs in the May. On 7th, 9th and 11th you have the GTs. So fill the center in Greater Noida only. Stay there till INI. Give the GTs. उससे पहले you'll obviously revise. We do GTs and online BTRs also. Now we appear for the GTs. This is the same thing. You have to appear offline and you have to study before that. So you have whole May to complete the 19 subjects and you will be able to do it. In fact, before that also, when I'm sticking up the small subjects, you don't need much time to complete anesthesia, radiology, orthopedics and psychiatry or dermat. And for that month, यानी कि पूरा का पूरा April में you can go on with the again large subjects and re-revise them. So that's how you want to make more revision cycles within this one schedule of cycle by ma'am. Somebody was concerned about the girls' safety. I did not feel anything unsafe there. It's completely safe because there are so many students. Ola, Uber, Rapido is always available. Just book it and go. There is no issues of safety. सुना मैंने भी था, but मुझे ऐसा कभी कुछ feel नहीं हुआ. It's a knowledge park. It's a knowledge area zone only. There are so many students there. You will feel safe. There is no issues with that. This was the whole story. Now summary is whether you should go with the offline BTR bootcamp or whether you should continue with the online BTR. So see, it depends on you completely. You have to decide. I have already told you the pros and cons of this much long duration of the BTR bootcamp. And the one thing which I keep saying, content is the same. Whether you go to offline BTR, whether you go to online BTR, the content remains the same. So content is never an issue. अगर आप लोगों को ambience चाहिए, motivation चाहिए, if you are unable to study at home, then you should go for offline BTR. If you are stuck in home, that if you are distracted, किसी का birthday party, marriage party, your parents are talking, you are so much interested in what they are talking. If in your home everybody's life is happening but you are feeling a little withdrawn from them, you should go to the bootcamp because everybody will be like you. But if you want a safe space to study, if you can't study in the cubicles, if you are motivated enough to do it, if you need that homemade food, you prefer online BTR. And I will also suggest, if you have done BTR so many times, there is no need to attend the boot camp because you already know the content. You are going there only for the ambience and the classes ka duration is very less. You have more time for your self study only. So if you have done BTR lots of time and you are motivated mentally, you don't have to opt for offline. You can go with the online only and take different T&D courses rather than spending on this. So choose wisely. There is no need of creating any FOMO right now कि सब जा रहे हैं. If I was at this place, I wouldn't go because I can't study in the cubicles. So this is completely your decision. Don't go in the FOMO. Am I missing something? You are not missing anything. Just take the online BTR and you can do it from there also. So I hope it helped, and do let me know in the comments if you want to know anything else. Thank you so much.